Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Whitney, and welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're returning, and I'm excited to have you guys here today. Today we're doing two Dollar Tree metal ornaments. Basically it says that they're metal plaques I got at Dollar Tree, and here's the end results. I'm a little excited to show you guys how we made these two cute little girls, so let's jump right into it. Alright, so there's my Dollar Tree galvanized plaque is what it says on there. Now I'm turning these into ornaments. I would put these on a tree, they're a decent size, but I'm going to put them on a tree. So here's the vinyl paper. It's permanent vinyl I got from Dollar Tree in the Crafter Square section. Both of them are glitter. Then we got a couple different wooden pieces. The Christmas tree I ended up not using. And then I've got various picks. This is a bucket of odds and ends, which we will use many of, and then a lot of ribbon. Most of those little spools of ribbon there are from Dollar Tree. So to get started, I'm going to take the ties off of both of our galvanized plaques because I need them to be completely flat so that I can start putting this vinyl on. Now, if anyone has used this Dollar Tree vinyl before and found it good, then maybe it's just the glitter stuff, because I'm like, meh, it's just meh for me. I wouldn't use it again. It's very thin, and if some of it shows up on camera, some of it doesn't. You'll see the marks on here when I was smoothing it down with the I guess it's the squeegee that came with my Cricut. But all I'm doing is basically measuring about the width I need for the snowman. I'm making the snowman silver, and I'm going to put that bulb, that Christmas ornament right there in it. It's like a peach glitter. Now, I think the end result of both of these are gorgeous. I love them. But I might take a different route the next time if I should make something like this again. So all I'm doing is just making a square big enough, or sorry, this is a rectangle, big enough to cover the item here. And then I'm going to use basic vinyl application on this. So this is a little piece of washi tape I'm using to hold down my item, and actually I need to put it the other way around, Whitney. Okay, there you go, because we're going to apply the vinyl in a very small piece at one side, and then we're going to use the vinyl itself to hold it down. So peel my vinyl just a little bit up, and then I'm going to cut off some of that backing there. That way, once I'm applying it back down, as though we're going to lay it back down, I'm using the squeegee to pull the vinyl back out, rub out any of the wrinkles, rub out any of the bubbles. And in my opinion, what I'm trying to do here is just, I'm applying it not as though we're doing any kind of vinyl decals. This is just basically applying vinyl to the front of it. I didn't want to paint it. So I'm going to cut out the pieces with my my razor blade around the edges and just try to get things started, and then see. It's like, what I was going to cut it with scissors, decided not to. Now we can use the rest of this and kind of just peel it forward. And then I'm using the squeegee as I peel because it's supposed to get rid of a lot of bubbles. Now, it left some marks from the actual squeegee in it. I mean, you guys, I wasn't putting a ton of pressure on that or anything. I was just kind of applying a decent amount, but not horrible, as I went. And some of it kind of showed the lines of... It's very odd. It would show a line of where the backing still was when I first put it down. I was like, So here I'm popping the bubbles and trying to get some of them out. Most of it's all going to get covered up by way too much stuff in the middle of it, because you guys know how I do. Because I added way too much to the point where you probably can't tell that's a snowman anymore. And you definitely can't tell that it's a Christmas ornament by the time I'm done. But you guys love it. You're going to love exactly what I did, right? All of you guys are so awesome to me. It's like, very few times I get a couple things. People are like, look, I love your work. I love what you do. Me personally, I wouldn't have done that. And those are the comments that I like. Tell me exactly how you feel, man. But I'm still doing this. I was debating whether even to edit this and put this into a video, but I wanted to get it out because I think at the end it's pretty, and if anything, it can inspire you to do something like it. You know what I'm saying? It inspire you to take this idea and then just twist it and tinker with it and make it your own. It also might give you an idea of how to apply vinyl in a solid pattern. You don't need a cutting machine. Just buy that vinyl and apply it to something, because you could do this to wood, you could do this to anything. If you have cardboard cutouts, if you have a shape of something that you want to buy but you haven't found that particular custom shape to fit something, then by all means, grab some vinyl. Now, this is just the glitter vinyl. Once again, I have no experience with the Dollar Tree vinyl. Some of the people I've seen have found really cute buffalo check one. And I was looking, you guys, because I was going to make that snowman buffalo check, but couldn't find any. Not at the one I was at. They just had solid colors and then this pretty glitter stuff. So I bought the glitter stuff. And you'll be able to see a line right here on this one. When I'm done putting this one on, you'll see the line on this one. It's pretty thin. It's a pretty thin vinyl. And in my experience, it's like, I would probably just buy a nicer vinyl. Again, this is all Dollar Tree stuff, so use what you're comfortable with. You get what you pay for sometimes, you know? But at the same time, it was a decent project. I had fun, so I'm not going to throw this out and say it's a complete loss. Most of the vinyl, if you don't even have a cutting machine, you could also use paper punches, like a scrapbook punch, and you can make all kinds of little stickers out of different kinds of vinyl. So this glitter vinyl will probably come in handy at some point. It might see another experience. But when I'm holding it here, you can kind of see those lines. I slowed this down to real time so you can kind of see. That is flat. There are no bubbles in it, but you can see in two spots, like almost like a rub mark. And I wasn't pushing that hard, so with your own, with your own choices, go forward and see if you want to use something like that. But you guys let me know in the comments how you guys feel about that Crafter Square vinyl. So I took off the jute string ties from both of these, and I was going to put them back on, but then it proved to be a little bit difficult since the jute from Dollar Tree seemed to have frayed out and was a little bit bigger. So I just got my own little spool, and then I had to put some washi tape on the end to thread it through the holes. So I thread it through two of them at the same time, pulled enough through, and I'm just making my own new ties. So that's a double knot right there, or sorry, a square knot, which would be left over right and then right over left. You make a square knot, and we're done, and we have the hanger. Nothing special. There's no best bells and whistles. It's just basically pure functionality on these ties. So proceed as you wish. Use some ribbon or leave it off and just kind of nestle it in your tree. You don't necessarily need to hang this item. Again, they're a decent size, so I don't even know if some people would want to use those types of things. So here I'm going to just start separating out the ideas that I have. I for sure had some Dollar Tree ribbon that I found the day that I got these items, like almost 2 weeks ago. There is some Dollar Tree ribbon that has these pretty little it's got these pretty little birds on it. And the birds matched perfectly with this peachy pink color of glitter, glitter vinyl that I bought. So again, I have an extra cotton ball, and you can see the little bird right there, and then I also have some gingham. Now there's only one spool of ribbon there that's not Dollar Tree, and that's the biggest one right there on the right, and that's actually from Michael's. But the first one we're going to do here is this little peach one. I was so excited to get on it because I had such good ideas waiting for it. So here's me using my little travel blow dryer to get the heat out. Now I put my heat gun away, not thinking I'm going to need to take labels off of things. So after this, I got my heat gun back out because this took a little bit of time getting the labels off the back with this little travel air blow dryer, which I'm using as to dry paint. But it still got the job done, especially after it warmed up. So lesson to be learned: don't put away all your tools, Whitney. I end up using them for all kinds of things. If anything, you guys know I use my tools for things that they're not intended for. And then I gave up on one of the bottom ones because, again, I didn't get my heat gun back out because I was just pure lazy. But also I was going to glue that thing flat, which I thought I did. I ended up not, but I was going to glue it to the point where you wouldn't see it. But the other label came off, and then I didn't even end up using that Christmas tree, guys. I thought it would be cute on the snowman, but I didn't even end up using it on there. So in any event, what we're doing here is I'm just going to start clipping off the greenery that I know I want to use on each particular one. So I knew I wanted more softer tones with this peach glitter. It just looked really, really good together. So I'm going to mix a lot of these soft tones, and then I'm going to put a lot of different, like, just a wintry, country, farmhousey kind of vibe to it, because I just felt like these colors looked really good together. And I wanted it to look super country, super cute, but still Christmassy at the same time. So this isn't really something. Also, it's an ornament, so it's not like it's going to be something you're going to leave out anyways. But all of these little pieces I have in this little bucket here, and it's all my little remnants from other projects, things that fall apart, things that fall off. What piece here falls off of here. You only have one left of one item. So that cotton ball came off of a stem on a project I was doing a long time ago, and it ended up in my little extra bucket. So that's basically another stash buster, I guess you could say. But, again, I did buy new products and new supplies from the Dollar Tree. So all of these ribbons here are all Dollar Tree ribbon. None of them have wire in them, so I am literally just looping them over. I'm grabbing one end and then looping it, bringing it back, grab it, loop it, and then all I'm going to do is cut off some decently longer tails than I normally would, and we will just stretch it all together. Here's me showing you that ribbon. It is perfect. It absolutely is perfect. I'm sorry about my phone, guys. It's absolutely perfect for this particular project because the peach it's on the chest of the bird. It's just I can't get over how perfect it was for this particular project, which is why I was basically had my project building going on in the cart while I was buying these items, and it was making me so happy. I needed to hurry up and get home and just make everything. But all I'm doing is looping together. The bird ribbon is not double-sided, so I had to make sure I twisted that in a way to make sure that the right side was facing up each time. And instead of a pipe cleaner, because we're not putting this into styrofoam, I'm using just a small piece of that same twine. So I cut off a few inches of that twine and then tie it in the back. I double knotted it, cut the extra strings off on the jute twine, and I'm just going to glue that pretty little girl right there down in the middle. And the rest is all gravy. Just glue all your little pieces down as you wish. Start placing things, and then if you like their placement, commit, fill it up with glue, and the rest is history. I have this eucalyptus here, which I don't know if I even ended up using it. I can't remember now. Let's see. Yeah, I cut it apart and I ended up using it. So I have two kinds of eucalyptus going into this right here. So that is actually from Amazon. That was the bag I was showing you. So if you click on my Amazon link, you'll be able to find it below. They're perfectly sized, like they're smaller picks. But the price was so affordable when I bought it. And I bought this for a project last year sometime. So originally that video, when I honestly couldn't tell you what project it was right now at the top of my head. But it's in my Amazon store. So again, check out my Amazon store. If you see project supplies in there that I've used that you want to actually duplicate, feel free to purchase those. It gives me a very small little income. Commission income from it, and every little bit helps. So if you see something I'm using and you just absolutely need to have the same item, go ahead and click the link in my description or in the first pinned comment, and you'll be able to take a look at my Amazon store and see all the little things I've used over the course of probably about a year now. These green eucalyptus are in there. All this is starting to come together right now. So then also I grabbed a few Dollar Tree pine cones that I had, and they're really good filler for small little items like this. So what I'm going to end up doing is placing the cotton ball in there and just basically making things fit together. We don't want to see any of the glued down stems. We don't want to see any of that jute in the middle of the bow. So all I'm doing is just filling things in with extras. Now, these little pieces of eucalyptus you see me cutting the stems off of, that came off of a stem from Michael's that I made a reindeer wreath, I think 2 years ago. I had 4 little pieces left over. So I pulled them off the stem and I stuck them in my extra box. They're working out perfect. They have the nice, almost like a slate blue color to them, and it looks perfect with that ribbon that the bird's in. Here you'll see I cut off an extra longer piece of the tail of that one ribbon, and then I just glued it into the middle of the bow. So I still had even another piece of the tail, which I felt was too long. Cut that off, glue that back into the bow, kind of underneath one of the leaves, and you'll never see what's going on. And I knew I wanted to use this tag because it had the nice natural element to it. It was rustic and it had a pine cone on it, and I wanted to make sure all that still kind of meshed together. So I'm putting my cotton ball in right there, making sure that that has its home, and then I'm gonna nestle that little tag in there snug right by that cotton ball, so it has something to adhere to on the bottom and then also the top. So I'm kind of just finding its new home right now. And then that's honestly a flower. That's from a flower bush. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to name it. It's just something, it was pretty and I didn't want to throw it out. All these little things come in handy, guys. Never get rid of too many things, you know. I'm not trying to tell y'all to hoard, but I mean, it ends up happening to us, right? Can't help getting around that sometimes. But in this instance, all these little things like came together in the perfect small amount of colors. They all complemented each other. So this is one of those things where I was just kind of grabbing all my little extras just to see what I had. And we make that come to life. And so here it is. There's the first one. I like how it turns out. Now, you can't tell it's an ornament because I put so much Christmas junk at the top of it that I'm not even angry. From the back you can see the ornament, and even then you can kind of see at the top where I'm holding it. You see the little top of the ornament. But I love it. And here's my studio light picture. I love it. It doesn't like sparkle like you'd think glitter would sparkle, but it gives it a good texture. So here's our snowman. This one was fairly easy, pretty fast as well. Same premise, guys. Grab all your extras. Now these are extra pieces off of off of a garland I bought. But what I like to do is I like to trim the pieces. So you'll see here on the left is what it looks like when it came off, and then all I did was cut it. I gave them all a little haircut at a diagonal. That is like my best secret that I could probably share with you guys. Give every single one of your little greeneries a trim, and trim them to a point on one end. It makes them look more finished. Makes them look like the ends of the Christmas tree or the tips of the branches, instead of looking like you just cut apart a piece of like garland, which is what I did. I literally bought a garland on clearance for like $1.93 the year before last, and a 6-foot garland will last you a long time for this type of stuff. I was using them on my little Mickey Mouse wreaths. I had some mouse wreath I was making. Anything small for like a tiered tray, it comes in handy. And here's my first attempt ever, you guys, ever, at I guess a scrappy bow? I'm not sure what you call this. I'm just going to basically cut a bunch of lengths of ribbon. Now, I cut these things 8 inches long. I ended up cutting off about 1 inch on each, 1 inch off of each end after I tied this bow. So you could probably do 6 and save yourself some more ribbon. So I cut 4 pieces of each of my Christmas ribbon. Now, the holly ribbon and the gingham ribbon came from Dollar Tree, and then that burlap ribbon with the gingham red edges, that's actually Michael's from a few years ago, and it's a little bit thinner. So I cut four slices. I keep wanting to say slices. I cut 4 strips of each. Here is a decent size amount of twine. Again, it's this long, I don't know. So I'm going to make a little tied bow. I'm going to grab my twine in one finger, and I'm going to wrap it around all 4 of my fingers about 6 or 7 times, and then leave a tail on each end. So now you're holding a loop with a tail on each end. But we're going to put this down on the table, and we're going to come back to it because I'm going to nestle that on top of my scrappy bow before I tie that twine off. So here, what I've noticed is I went back and I watched somebody else make a scrappy bow, and I realized I shouldn't have probably stacked these literally right on top of each other. But you guys tell me what your process is when you guys make these bows. I've seen people where they put them at different diagonals, so you'll make an X and then one in the middle, but all I did was just alternate the ribbon. So I did green gingham, then the holly, then the burlap, then the gingham, holly, burlap, and that's just how I did it. But I layered them flat on top of themselves. Many people I saw that did them laid them at different angles. I still love how it turned out at the end because I ended up, here's me trying to keep them back into a stack, which I should have just let them fall apart before I tied them. I still think it turned out okay, so it's just another happy accident, but I still think it turned out okay. I really like it. So what I did here is I grabbed my jute twine bundle, I pinch it in the middle, so there's our bow, and I'm just going to lay it on top of all those ribbon pieces so we can tie them all together at one time. So I'm going to, again, pinch the little circle that you had after you wrapped it around your fingers, and then just lay that right on top of where you're going to tie your twine over the middle, included together. So I'm bundling my scrappy bow with my little jute bow. And then later on, you guys are going to see me. I take it apart. So it's up to you. What I think happened is the jute bow was a little bit too tall with the thickness of all those pieces of ribbon underneath it. So just tie them independently if you want. That's basically what I should have done, but because I took this order, now I'm going to have to change it on you guys later. But all I did was just double knot this. I kind of wrapped it around the middle a few times and then did a double knot on the back. And then we're going to set it off to the side after we're done here. But that's all I'm doing is just tying it off, making sure I have it really cinched tight, and then try to spread out some of those ribbons, which it happens better once you glue it to your project and then you start adding all your little accoutrements around it. It turns out okay. So here's me back to a couple times fast and thinking, okay, look, this is going to put the Christmas tree down there, but then you guys get to watch this beautiful thought process. It doesn't work out that way. I end up not using the tree at all. Berries I'm going to pull apart. That's an old pick from Michael's. Very old pick. Back in the day, all we used to do is get these berry bushes like this, these little berry picks together. It's getting harder and harder for me to find them. Hobby Lobby does have some every year, though, I've noticed. Some of those longer stem ones, but Michael's, it feels like they're carrying less and less of these berry picks, or I'm just missing out on them. We'll see how it goes, though, but... Oh, sorry. My alarm went off. It's time to give my puppy her pills. So, I have to get to that. And, back to our video. Sorry about that, guys. It's like when every time I sit down to record these things, to record these voiceovers, something goes off. My phone goes off, an alarm goes off, the dogs start barking or breathing really hard. So never mind the life that's occurring in the background. Let's just keep going. Here is, oh, these guys are new for me this year. This is a pick of, I believe it's not holly, is it? It's supposed to be mistletoe? I forget now. Yeah, it's mistletoe from Dollar Tree. When I saw that, I thought it was cute. Now, it's just little white styrofoam balls, and they fall apart, just like everything from Dollar Tree. But here's me, I was trying to take those little ends off to glue them on better. They weren't coming off, so I was like, hey, power to you, Dollar Tree. Finally, something that doesn't fall apart in my hands. I normally am not a fan of Dollar Tree floral. So, oh, wait, here you go, guys. I am taking the bow apart because you're going to see. I'm going to leave the little ribbon scraps to themselves and tie them separately, cinch those together, and then I'm going to have the jute bow off on its own. So there's me literally taking apart all of my little double knotting work. So let's double knot the ribbon together and just put that down in the middle, because now it's time to attach the ribbons, and then we're going to add all those cute little mistletoe picks all around the edge. So here's me. I'm taking everything at a diagonal. So I cut 1 inch off on that side, and I'm cutting about 1 inch off on the opposite side. They were literally just too long. They were just too long. They were falling off of the edges, and I needed to make it smaller. So instead of 8 inches, guys, do 6. At least for something this size, do 6 inches. And then here, I'm cinching back my jute twine, grabbed another piece of twine, and I'm literally just tying a double knot around it. It's a very simple bow, and it's also very, very effective when you get it in its final home. It's just easy if you're not really into being a big bow maker. That was really, really easy. And even though I still left all those ribbons literally stacked on top of each other, they spread out perfectly right there. And then there I'm putting the jute bow back on top, but I'm kind of putting it a little bit lower so that it's not on top of that thicker stacked ribbon from below it. And it actually was able to cover up some more of the behind the scenes. Remember, all of this is about putting in finishing touches to cover up some of the stuff you don't want people to see. Stems, you don't want people to see glue. You don't want anyone to see anything that basically looks like you're constructing it from a Frankenstein of, parts. Basically, this is all spare parts. So, you're a mad scientist in your lab creating beautiful items. That's basically how it is. What else can you get to throw together? Here's just adding more of those Dollar Tree little mini pine cones. They come in handy. And then I'm going to add in the rest of the beads, the little berry pick from the rest of that Michael's pick. So there wasn't much left over. So remember, I don't want there to always be more extras than when I actually stopped or when I started. So it's kind of like I want to try to use some of these, but then also not replace them with more. But again, that's the least of your worries. It is what it is, and if anything, you'll have more pretty stuff to go back to later. It's not the end of the world. It's just crafting, guys. It's just crafting, and it's fun. And every time I make that perfect placement, or every time I get that little berry in the right spot, just gets me excited. Then I know I'm doing it right, because if it makes me happy, then it's filled its purpose in my life. And then hopefully it goes on to a new home and it fills a purpose there too. So here's the two girls by themselves. This is just in the craft room in my craft lights. I've got some studio pics coming up, but I think the two of them turned out. You guys tell me what you think. Let me know if you have any tips or tricks of any of the things I was asking along the way. If you're still with me now, at the end of this, we're talking about 20 minutes of me constant jibber jabber in your ear. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch my videos and continually support me. You guys mean more to me than you could possibly ever know. I appreciate every single one of you, whether you're new or returning. I love you guys, okay? I just love you. So thanks so much. I've got more things planned. I've got more videos on the block ready to go, and we'll just get back into that editing frame of mind, and I'll get things done. So again, having a great time. I love all your comments. Keep them coming. And again, happy crafting, guys. Take care of yourself and each other. You guys are already doing a great job of it, so keep it up. And happy crafting, and until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Hugs. Bye-bye.